Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming your sheriff, Sheriff Dennis Lima.
I feel like a professional wrestler coming up here with intro music, so that's wonderful. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to beautiful Seminole County. We have a lot to celebrate. It's great to see so many friends that are here today, and especially good to be together just 1 week after Florida Republicans made their choice absolutely clear. Congratulations to Congressman Byron on a tremendous victory in becoming our Republican nominee for governor of the great state of Florida. You know, now that the primary is behind us, our attention turns to November. I've spent more than 3 decades in law enforcement, and one thing that I have learned over the years is that leadership matters. We need leaders with sound judgment who listen to the people who are around them, who are willing to make tough decisions and understand the importance of standing with the men and women who keep our community safe. I've had the opportunity to get to know Byron over the years, and I've seen firsthand his commitment to the people of this state, and I've learned where he stands. During his time in Congress, Byron has been a consistent supporter of law enforcement. He understands that keeping people safe is one of the most fundamental responsibilities of government, and that the men and women doing this work need leaders who will stand up with them. But one of the things that I appreciate most about Byron is that he absolutely listens. He's spent time with sheriffs and policing leaders from across the state of Florida. He asks questions because he genuinely wants to understand what is happening within our community and what we are seeing on the front lines. Our next governor will face challenges that we can anticipate and others that we cannot. We need somebody who will surround himself with good people, listen to those closest to the issues, make tough decisions, and then stand behind those decisions. Florida has benefited from many years of strong leadership, and we have a lot worth protecting and building upon. We cannot take that progress for granted. The primary was an important victory, but the work is not yet finished. Between now and November, it is up to all of us to keep that momentum moving forward. Make the case to our friends and neighbors and turn out to vote. I am so proud to stand with Byron Donalds to support him for governor of the state of Florida, and I look forward to continuing to work alongside him as we keep Florida a safe, strong, and special place to call home. Before I conclude, I also had the privilege of introducing somebody who really does not need much of an introduction, especially to a crowd like this. Wayne Ivey is a great Florida sheriff, a wonderful partner, and somebody who I am fortunate to call friend. Wayne and I have worked very closely together for many years now, not only here in Central Florida, but across the state and issues affecting sheriffs and policing profession across our entire country. We have spent a lot of time together advocating for the men and women that we have the opportunity to represent, working through some difficult and complex issues, and ensuring the voice of law enforcement is involved when important decisions are made. He cares deeply about the people of Brevard County, the men and women of his agency, and the future of our profession. And anyone who knows Sheriff Ivey knows that he's never afraid to stand up for what he believes is right. I have tremendous respect for him as a sheriff, as a policing partner, and I'm incredibly grateful for his friendship over the years. Please join me in welcoming Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey.
All right, are you ready to hear from Florida's next governor? Oh, I know you can do better than that. How about let's hear it for Florida's next governor? That's what I'm talking about. Big round of applause for my friend Sheriff Dennis Lima. He is a great, great advocate for law enforcement. What he does, he and his team do each and every day is absolutely amazing. So big round of applause for him. So you heard Sheriff Lima talk about how we stand with Byron Donalds, and we stand firmly with him. In fact, Florida sheriffs overwhelmingly have come out and endorsed him. That number continues to grow each and every day because they understand, like I do, and like Byron does, that Byron's job is to protect what I always call the 3 C's: our citizens, our cops, and our Constitution. And Byron has committed to doing that. We've had a chance to visit with him, to talk to him, to ask him his place, his position on different things. And each and every time, he has stood strong with law enforcement. Each and every time he has said that we are not only going to keep Florida the free state, we are going to keep it the safe state that it already is. And we are proud to stand with him. I can tell you that through the years in this business, we have faced many different challenges. Byron Donalds is ready to face the next challenge that Florida has. Whatever it may be, he is ready to stand shoulder to shoulder with law enforcement and make sure that we are keeping our citizens safe, to make sure that our law enforcement officers have the tools they need, the things that they need to get the job done, the resources they need to stay here in Florida to continue protecting us and not to be pulled away to some other state where they're calling and begging for help. Folks, our law enforcement officers here in the state of Florida get it done each and every day. And it doesn't matter if you live in Brevard County, where I'm blessed to be the sheriff, or in Seminole County, wherever it is that you reside, I can tell you that the men and women of our field are out there putting their lives on the line each and every day. Our firefighters are out there putting their lives on the line each and every day. And Byron understands that. In fact, he not only understands it, he applauds it, he supports it, he believes in it, and he is going to stand to make sure that we are all safe. So we are going to have a lot of fun today. We are going to get to hear from him. We're going to get to hear from his beautiful wife, as she's going to come out in just a second. But what I'm going to tell you is that we all have to be ready to stand shoulder to shoulder in November. We all have to be ready to get out, get to the polls, take those signs you're holding up, take what you're holding in your heart right now, and get out and go vote, because that's what it's going to take to keep Florida safe, to keep Florida free. So I know Byron is going to be out here in just a minute, but I just want you to know that we are standing proudly with him, and being here today to see everybody that's here with him is exactly what we need. So let's one more time. How many of you would like to hear from Florida's next governor, Byron Donalds? That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join me in introducing Mrs. Donalds to lead us in prayer.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. It's been 1 week since all of you helped push us over the finish line in a huge primary victory. So thank you all for your support and for being here this morning. Yes, we are so excited, and God is so good. As I said last week, He is the reason why we are where we are. He is the reason why we have the things that we have, this incredible state, and all of the future prospects with great leadership that we know He's going to carry us through these next 70 days. So I would ask you to just join with me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we welcome you into this place right now. We thank you for all of the blessings that you have brought upon us, our families, and the team that you have assembled, not just our campaign team, but the team that is carrying Florida forward. All of those that are serving as first responders, our 2 incredible sheriffs that we had here today, and all of their teams, Father, and everyone who's represented here. It is a team effort, and only you know that you harmonize everyone working together to make this state the best state in the country, and we are so grateful that we get to be a part of this. I thank you for bringing together all of the right people as we move forward as a state, as we move forward as a conservative movement. I thank you for Governor Ron DeSantis and Governor Rick Scott, our incredible senators, the leaders that you have put in place so that Florida can be free and the beacon of light that you envision for us to have. Thank you for your calling on each one of our lives. And I ask a special blessing upon Byron and our family as we move forward through this campaign, and on our Lieutenant Governor, Brian Avila, his wife, Cindy, his beautiful children, Father. And we ask that you strengthen them, bring peace and unity into our Republican Party this season, this election season. And we just invite you to control and direct, give us your wisdom, your guidance, and your peace. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Now, to honor our nation, please stand for Ryan Elijah to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Got to wait for the walkout song, but we're going right to the pledge, so let's go right to that. Let's say the pledge right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's great to be here. Look, we have bruising primaries sometimes, and Erica said it great. It is all about uniting. And that's what I'm excited about. I was just talking to Byron in the background, and we talked about a number of things. The one thing we talked about is uniting and moving forward. I had a chance a number of times at different events to see Byron speak, and the congressman he has incredible communication skills, and he's focused on the issues that matter to Florida. The other thing that really excites me is his business background, and certainly the focus on the economy and growing Florida's economy, which is so important to everybody in this room. That's a passion for me. And another thing that's very big to me is the faith. And I've been able to talk with my wife, who's not able to be here today because she had a medical procedure, but we've been able to talk to him about his faith. And being involved for 4 months now in the political world, and Congressman Donalds could go a lot farther back than that, your faith matters to keep you grounded, to make sure that you're focused, and to lead people forward. So that is something that we bond on a lot, and it's critical. And I love to be in an event where we not only say the pledge, but we say the prayer as well. And I think that's very important. The one thing that I really want to focus on with people, though, think about COVID. And when you think about COVID, you realized in that moment what it means to have the right leader. There were places that lost their churches. Our theme parks were impacted because we had Governor DeSantis, but there were other states that didn't have that. And when you think about a race like this, you can call yourself a moderate. What number is behind your name? If there's a D behind your name, you're not, because you bring some of that with you as well. So it matters who leads you in these moments. And I'm excited about this. We're going to win in November, but we're going to win if we all unite. And it takes people in this room to get excited, to work. And you guys have done an amazing job up through August. Now we've got to focus through November. So it is great to be on the team. It's great to be here with the sheriffs. It's great to be supporting our next governor. And thank you for everybody that's in here. God bless you. Thanks for being here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please join me in welcoming Congressman Byron Donald.
Oh, wow. Listen, let me start by saying this. One, it is great to be back in Central Florida. And let me tell you something, Sanford, I'm going to be here a lot. A lot. A lot. I want to also thank, so many of our friends and colleagues from the Florida legislature. They are all here. It seems like all of you are here. Oh, my goodness. But it's great to have you. Sheriff Lima, you run a tight ship. Make sure you teach Sheriff Ivy how to do that. I'm always messing with Wayne Ivy. He is a good friend. He's a good man. Everybody, take a seat, please. I want to thank you for taking time out of your afternoon to be here, because we are on the road to November now. In 70 days, Florida will decide which way our state will go. For almost 30 years, Florida has been the pinnacle. We have been the state in all of America. We've been the common sense state. We've been a very conservative state. We have become the free state. And for people who have chosen Florida, or people like my wife who are multiple generations in this state, we are everything. We embody what it means to be free here in the free state of Florida. We embody constitutionalism here in the free state of Florida. We are where people are bringing business and industry because we value capital. We value business owners because we understand you're going to build a great economy. It starts with somebody having an idea and being ingenious and deciding to live by the sweat of their brow. My wife's a small business owner. I've watched the late nights, sometimes these super early mornings at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., trying to figure out how you're going to bring it all together. And that grit, that determination, we don't just love that in Florida, we crave that in Florida. And that is why we are #1 in all of America. That is why. But what's in front of us is a challenge. And listen, I'm going to get to the Democrats. Don't worry. I'm going to get to them. But let's talk about us. So many times in politics, what gets ignored is what are you for? And what we are for is an accountable Florida, an achievable Florida, and an affordable Florida. That is what we are for. We are for the Florida dream, because it has been the best thing for so many people who chose Florida to be their home. An accountable Florida starts with a government that makes sure it lives within its means. We are going to continue doging all governments, state and local. State and local. Because when I look at Sheriff Ivey and I look at Sheriff Lima, the #1 responsibility of government is to make sure that you are safe. And we want to make sure that these men and their colleagues all across Florida and their deputies get every resource that they need in order to keep our communities safe. And that's our commitment to Florida. Thank you. We are also going to have an efficient government, because a government that wastes a bunch of money is not operating in the interest of the people that we serve. We talk about affordability, but if government's wasting money, that means it's taxing you too much. And so we are going to lead an efficient government here in Florida so that you get to keep more money in your pocket. We want an achievable Florida. When I came here, I was 17 years old. I had a trunk full of clothes. My wife reminded me this morning, and now I got to tell the story everywhere, because we all know, you've been married for any length of time. When your wife reminds you of something, it is important to acknowledge that reminder and lock it in. Any good husband worth their salt knows they lock it in. And that's what we're going to do. She reminded me of our first apartment. I said the other night, last Tuesday, I said it was 1,200 square feet. And so she, tapped me, kind of, gave me like the elbow nudge that a good wife is prone to do. And she said it wasn't 1,200 square feet. And I was like, well, how big was it? She goes, it was 925 square feet. Like, we were broke, man. Like, don't you remember? And I was like, I do remember. We were broke, and we were coming out of college. We were trying to make ends meet. But we had great degrees from Florida State, and we worked our way up through the working world. We did. I love the University of Florida, too. I'm trying to make sure we're spreading the love to everybody. But we worked our way up, and it was tough. We started with nothing. We want our young people to be able to hit the ground running and achieve the Florida dream for themselves. This is why we have a commitment to making sure that our children will master math, reading, and writing by the time they graduate high school. This is why. This is why we have a commitment with our young folks that we want them to have personalized success plans, because every child is different. I have 3 sons. They are all different. And parents, we work painstakingly to make sure that there's a pathway for success for that child, each one of our children. We want to help parents be able to have those plans for their kids in the great state of Florida. It's why we have, and listen, and I'm looking at Rotor Blade, I'm looking all around here. This is an amazing company, amazing company. For the children in Florida who are not going to the universities, they may not go to UCF or the University of Florida or Florida State. If they're juniors and seniors, why not make sure they have an apprenticeship or an internship? Right? If you're a junior in high school and you know you haven't filled out a FAFSA, you're not going to college, why don't we partner that young person with a company so they can come in a day a week and begin to learn what it means to work in our economy? And when they're seniors, and I know I'm not the only one, because when I was in high school, I had senioritis. You did too, all right. But when you're seniors in high school, you're not going to college. Why are you in class 5 days a week? Maybe you should be in class 3 days a week. And the other 2 days, you're on the job being prepared for your future. That's important. We talk about affordability, but the number one way we can help a young kid afford Florida and build a dream in Florida is they have to have high skills and going into a high-paying job. Today in Florida, if you have the skills to be an auto technician, you can be on the floor of a dealership in the service center making $80,000 a year coming out of high school. You could be a welder at 18, 19 years old making six figures. If you have the right skills, you can be an electrician. The list goes on and on. So our commitment to an achievable Florida is to make sure that our kids have the skill set in order to achieve success for themselves in the great state of Florida. But the last piece is affordability. We want an affordable Florida. This is why we are going to reform the regulatory side of Florida's insurance markets. We are going to build on the success of Governor DeSantis. And by the way, Governor Ron DeSantis has done a great job leading Florida. A great job. And we are going to build on his success from a couple of years ago, and we're going to reform insurance because we got to push prices down, because it doesn't matter if you're in Miami, Sanford, Orlando, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Panama City, Pensacola, and all points in between. And I'm not forgetting about you, Jacksonville. I know you're there. I know you're there. But it doesn't matter what part of Florida you're in, everybody's dealing with insurance. So we want to reform Florida's insurance markets. Now, you should know this. I chaired the Insurance and Banking Subcommittee when I was in the Florida House. So I know this market and I know this system. I also spent 17 years in the financial industry, commercial banking, insurance, and financial services. I've actually worked in the real world before politics. It's important. David Jolly has been a career staffer on Capitol Hill and a lobbyist. He's never actually worked in the real world. So how is he going to fix affordability if he doesn't even know where to look? You know, like, I've invested in companies in my career. I lent money to businesses in my career, and I was responsible. If it didn't go right, I would be out of a job. So when it comes to who are you going to trust to start fixing affordability issues in this state, it might need to be somebody who knows how the economy actually works, not somebody waiting for a staffer or a lobbyist to give them a white paper so they can regurgitate how they think it's supposed to work. I told you I was going to come to the Democrats. I told you. When it comes to property taxes, that's in your hands. The voters will decide. When it comes to health insurance and healthcare costs, we want to have doctors and hospitals post a real cash price of the top 20 services that they offer. You should be able to see what it costs before you walk in the door. You should know what it costs. And a funny thing about price transparency, when you have transparency in the market, you know what happens. It happens in every other business. Every other company starts looking around. Well, what are they charging for an MRI? Oh, shoot, well, maybe I need to charge that too. Price transparency brings price stability. Price stability is how you make costs more affordable. And we want to lead on that here in the great state of Florida. Around permitting, 30% of the cost of a new home is government, not the roof. Not the appliances, not the furnishings. It's government. We are going to modernize permitting and planning in the state of Florida. It can't take 2 years to put a shovel in the ground. Because when it takes 2 years to put a shovel in the ground, all you have done is made that first home or you made that first apartment more expensive for the people of Florida. And we are going to lead an efficient government that pushes costs down for the people of our state. Now, remember I talked about how this of a finance career. The reason why I started talking about permitting so much a year and a half ago, and people are like, why are you talking about permitting? Well, because when you lend money to a construction project, you see the soft costs and the hard costs. The hard costs are everything around you in this building. Like, you need this stuff for the building to exist. The soft costs, engineering, planning, and government. Now, we are gonna have to fix that side of things. We are still gonna have structurally sound buildings in Florida. We can do that work, but it can't take 2 years for the contractor to begin to build, because all that does is increase the cost on people who want to afford Florida and build their dreams in Florida. When it comes to infrastructure, same thing. We have roads to build. We have commercial centers that have to be figured out. The longer they take to construct, the more expensive they are on the people of our state. And by the way, the longer it takes for us to build out roads, the more damage it actually does to the quality of life here in Florida, because everybody gets frustrated when it just takes longer to get from point A to point B. And looking at the ladies in the room this afternoon, we want to make sure that you continue to have your hair looking good so you can get to the beauty salon as quick as you can. She over here like, see, I got mine. But at its core, it's all about economic growth. And how you have economic growth in a state is you make sure you have smart policy that values capital, and people come and they become a fabric of your state. They become a part of your state. In this election, the contrast could not be clearer. The differences could not be more stark. Because you see, the Democrats, and they've proven this in other states, they do not know how to build an economy that works for people. They do not know how to actually drive costs down. They only drive them up. You have the Democrats in Florida are now saying, oh, well, the Republicans have been in charge for 30 years. The greatest inflation most Americans have ever seen came because of Democrat policy led by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's where this inflation came from. And so now the Democrats run around and act like they have the solution. That's like hiring the arsonist to be the firefighter. You just don't do that. So we are going to make sure that we have an affordable Florida in our state. And I just laid out some of the detailed ideas of how we get there. But the Democrat ticket is now David Jolly and Gwen Graham, two former members of Congress, two politicians who lost their seats, and now they've joined forces to create the most boring and uninspiring ticket that Florida Democrats could ever put together. JKJ, they're boring. They're boring, I'm telling you. And then when you take a look at the Democrat socialist Angie Nixon running for the U.S. Senate, it shows how far left the Democrats have gone. I came to this state 30 years ago at 17, chasing a dream and chasing an education. And if you ask Erica, chasing her. Brian Avila is the son of Cuban exiles who fled communism so their children could live in freedom. Brian and I did not inherit political names, but what we inherited was the responsibility to fight for a state that gave our families everything. And that's what we're going to fight for. You see, the Democrats, they believe government is the answer. But Brian and I and all of you in this room, we know that freedom is the answer. You know it. The Democrats want to undo every conservative victory that Florida has been able to achieve. Brian and I, we want to build on those successes here in the great state of Florida. They answer, and they believe that the answer is Democrat socialism. And by the way, I hear this question. People say, well, Byron, the legislature is controlled by Republicans. And I say, yes, it is. But when you have a Democrat take over a governor's mansion, it's about the people that get appointed as judges, the people that get appointed to university boards, the people that get appointed when seats come open. It's about how you actually enforce Florida's law and what you choose to pay attention to and what they choose to ignore. The Democrats, they answer to the Democrat Socialists of America, and they would staff Florida's government with the Democrat Socialists of America. Never in Florida. You got that right. You got that right. Brian and I, we answer to the people of Florida. That's who we answer to. Florida is the greatest state in America because we continue to choose common sense, conservative leadership over the Democrats' failed liberal agenda. And in this critical fight for the future of our state, I wanted to make sure I had a proven warrior standing right beside me. Brian is a conservative fighter with more than a decade in the Florida legislature delivering real results. Brian Avila is the author of the Stop Woke Act. He's the author. Defending merit, defending individual liberty, and taking down divisive DEI agendas. Brian Avila has fought relentlessly for lower property taxes, for toll relief for the people of Florida, for cutting everyday costs, and to protect families from higher utility bills because of data centers. Brian Avila created the Spectrum Alert. He led major battles against human trafficking, and he spearheaded historic conservation efforts to restore Biscayne Bay and the Osborne Reef. But more than all of that, Brian Avila is a devoted husband, raising 2 kids with his high school sweetheart, Cindy. He's an educator and an academic dean, shaping the next generation. And he's also a captain in the Florida Army National Guard. Where he has commanded troops on the ground during hurricanes and during statewide emergencies. He's fought woke ideology. He has fought higher taxes. He has fought higher costs every single day. And I couldn't be prouder to introduce to all of you the next Lieutenant Governor for the great state of Florida, Brian Avila.
Are we fired up? Come on, Sanford, you could do better than that. Are we fired up? I see one of the soldiers that I've had the pleasure of serving with. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And thank you for your service. What an incredible honor. Please sit down. What an incredible honor. First and foremost, I want to thank God for the many blessings He has given me and my family. We are Floridians by the grace of God. And today, I want to thank the man that has given me one of the most incredible honors of my lifetime by allowing me to be on the ticket with him. Our next governor of the great state of Florida, Byron Donalds. Byron, thank you for your trust, for your friendship, and for your leadership. Byron and I share a fundamental belief that Democrats will never understand. Florida gave our families a chance. And now we are fighting to make sure that opportunity exists for every single family in the free state of Florida. My parents fled communism in Cuba. They left behind a home, they left behind a business, because they knew that when government takes over, when freedom disappears, socialism replaces opportunities with misery. My parents came to America in search of one very special thing: freedom. They found that freedom here in the free state of Florida. So when I hear Democrats casually embracing socialism, I know where that road leads. And I can tell you right now, under Governor Byron Donalds, there is no room, there is no home, there is nothing for socialism in the free state of Florida. This is not simply a choice between two political parties. This election is a choice between two fundamentally different visions for the state of Florida. Byron Donalds and I believe in limited government. We believe in law and order. We believe in lower taxes. And we believe in the dignity of hard work. We believe that parents, not the government, should raise their children. We believe that you should keep more of your hard-earned money. We believe that our police officers deserve our support. We believe that girls' sports are for girls. And we believe that Florida should never apologize for being Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud of the conservative record that we have built here in the state of Florida. I see many former and present members here from the Florida legislature. We've done a lot in 30 years. We've done a lot. We've turned Florida into the fourth largest economy in the world. Number one for job formations, new job formations. Number one for manufacturing job growth. Number one for higher ed quality. And all of that, my friends, is with the state of Florida having the least amount of state debt per capita in the entire union. I was proud to stand alongside Governor Ron DeSantis and the conservative legislature as we made Florida the national model for freedom. When liberal extremists told us to bend, Florida stood tall. When the radical left came after parental rights, Florida fought back. When they tried to impose their radical ideology on our schools and our children, Florida said no. As your lieutenant governor, I will work every single day with Governor Byron Donalds to ensure that that conservative legacy continues. My service to Florida hasn't only been in the Florida legislature. I also have the honor of wearing the uniform of the United States Army as a captain in the Florida National Guard. I've been activated during, you know this, we've been activated during numerous hurricanes and emergencies across our state. I've served during Florida's COVID response. I've commanded soldiers who answered the call to serve our communities. And ladies and gentlemen, those experiences teach you lessons you simply can't find behind the desk. When a hurricane is bearing down on the state of Florida, no one cares about what political party you belong to. They care whether the lights will come back on. They care whether their neighborhood is safe. They care whether someone will be there to help them. And they expect their leaders to be prepared, decisive, and accountable. Leadership means showing up. It means having a plan before the storm hits. It means taking responsibility when things go wrong. And it also means never asking somebody under your command to do something that you would not do yourself. That is the kind of leadership that Byron Donalds and I will bring to Tallahassee. Our mission is clear: protect the Florida dream. Because for many families across our state, that dream is becoming hard to afford. I know it because I'm raising my family here too. Families feel it when the property tax bill comes. Families feel it when their insurance premium is due. Families feel it when they see their electric bill. Families see it when they go to the grocery store. And for many young Floridians, they feel it when they wonder whether they will be ever able to afford their first home. Let me be very clear. Byron Donalds and I hear you, and we will fight for you. In the Florida Senate, I have fought to protect Floridians from being forced to pay higher utility bills because massive data centers want to consume enormous amounts of electricity and water. I have fought for property tax relief because your home should not be an ATM for the government. I have fought against wasteful spending because every single dollar that the government spends first came from someone's paycheck. And with Byron Donalds as governor, we are going to make government work for the taxpayer and not the other way around. We will fight to lower costs. We will protect our communities. We will stand with law enforcement and our first responders. We will protect school choice and parental rights. We will keep Florida the best state in America to own a home, raise a family, start a business, retire, and pursue your dreams. And the contrast in November could not be clearer. David Jolly and the Democrats offer Florida the same tired liberal, woke policies that have failed everywhere they've been tried. Higher taxes, bigger government, weak borders, and a radical ideology. David Jolly's policies are as invasive to Florida as the pythons are to the Everglades. My friends, today, I humbly accept your nomination to serve as the next Lieutenant Governor of the free state of Florida. Now I am asking you to stand with us. If you believe Florida is worth fighting for, stand with us. If you believe freedom is worth defending, stand with us. If you believe children deserve a Florida that is safer, stronger, freer, and more affordable, stand with us. We have a state to defend and a future to build. And together with Byron Donalds as our next governor of the free state of Florida, we are going to keep Florida free, keep Florida conservative, and we are going to keep the Florida dream alive for generations to come. God bless you, and God bless the great state of Florida.
Two for two. I'm good. 2 for 2. Come on, man. Let's go. We're going to sit down.